Hello, welcome to Community Connection. I'm your host, Gloria Enloe. Well, it's getting colder outside. The winter months are definitely upon us, but there are still plenty of things to do in Jefferson City in a rather warm environment. With us today, we have Claudia and Madeline from the Missouri River Regional Library. And they're going to discuss some of the programs they have coming up, things you can do indoors when the winter months are getting a little too cold for you. Claudia, Madeline, welcome to JCTV.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, Claudia, you've been on our show several times before because there's always something happening at the library, it seems, and I know that January and February are no exception. Can you tell us about some of the things coming up that you'd like people to know about?
Yes, excited about bringing back films to the library. We've had a bit of a hiatus, and we've got one coming up on February 8th. That's
yes.
Right. Thank you, Madeline. February 8th, introducing Dorothy Dandridge, starring Halle Berry. We'll start that at 7 p.m. And our hope is to have a film every month, alternating a feature film with an independent or foreign film. So every other month.
So, yeah.
Well, that's a good idea because, you know, a lot of people are familiar with some of the movies that play, but they're always fun to rewatch, and then you can kind of also throw in ones that people might miss then.
We have a subscription to Film Movement, and it's an independent film organization, and they send us a film every month, and they're either foreign films or just interesting, U.S.-made films. Mm-hmm. And
that you might not have the opportunity to see otherwise. So.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, it sounds really interesting, and we were talking a little bit about, before the show started, Marilyn, about you, and I understand that you've kind of are new to the position. Can you tell us what your position is and kind of what your job involves then?
Okay, I'm reference and adult programming librarian, and I still do reference work. I was part-time before. And adult programming, we're trying to expand, our offerings and just do a variety of programs. So that's pretty much half. It's kind of half and half. Mm-hmm. So we have lots of things for February for Black History Month, which is one of the things we wanted to talk about today. Mm-hmm. Do you want me to start?
Sure. Well, obviously you're going to have the movie on February 8th,
right?
And that is a movie that's about an African American actress. I think she was an earlier actress
in the 40s and 50s, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right. Yeah. So that kind of ties into that. But yeah, tell us about some of the other events that are happening in February.
Okay, on February 7th, we're having a program on slave cabins in mid-Missouri. Mm. And it's, I'm not sure I can pronounce his name, it's Gary Funthausen, and he's from the Little Dixie Heritage Foundation. He's kind of a cultural historian, and he has been working on restoring a slave cabin in the Arrow Rock area, but he also is quite knowledgeable about just in this general area, and he will talk about Cole County and Callaway County, things that were happening at that time.
It'll be interesting to hear that too, because Missouri, is kind of famously in the middle during times of slavery as to whether, but it did exist here, and I'm sure that there are some
especially
really
in
historical places.
Right, in the Little Dixie area for sure, and that includes Boone and somewhat, Cole. Also, Gary Kramer, Dr. Gary Kramer, everyone knows Gary Kramer, will be speaking on February 11th on George Washington Carver. He has written a book on him. That's his latest book. So he'll have books available for signing, and then he'll do his usual wonderful presentation. And then on February 21st, Ken Wynn, or Dr. Kenneth Wynn, he is a former Missouri State Archivist and is now the director of the Supreme Court Library. We'll talk about the slave freedom suits, and that is really a major thing because most of the slave freedom suits apparently were discovered in St. Louis, so their files, or if people want to do research on this, they come to St. Louis because the majority of slave freedom suits apparently were filed there. So
that's interesting.
It is.
Is that where Dred Scott was filed?
Yes, correct, right. And let's see, on the February 28th, 25th, yes. we're working with the historic city of Jefferson, and there's going to be a program on the Foot, which was an African American community here. And I think Henry Genske is not recruiting, but he's done a number of oral histories, and some of the people who lived there at the time will be speaking in a panel discussion, so that can be very interesting.
Yeah.
And,
Well, and you know,
yeah.
that's neat that you mentioned that, you know, because of course we're here at the campus of Lincoln University.
Exactly, right.
And a lot of people still talk about the Foot. They have fond memories of it. And a lot of people still would love to see more businesses and kind of an area grow up around the university because, you know, we have students here and it'd be great for them to be within walking distance of, you know, stores and shops, restaurants, organizations that they could visit. So, yeah, I think a lot of our students would definitely be interested in that presentation.
Right. Right, that is February 25th. On February 28th, there will be a ragtime performance at the Episcopal Church because they've got an organ and a grand piano. And it's Beth and Dan Eccles and several other people in their group. They perform every year at the Ragtime Festival in Sedalia. And they're really quite professional musicians, and so I'm kind of excited about that.
And it's right across the street from the
Yes,
library, so
exactly.
easy to get to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention the mini golf fundraiser that our foundation has had for the last, I think, 3 years. I think we're entering our fourth, yes, it's our fourth annual. It says right here on my flyer. People look forward to this event at the library where we turn it into a mini golf event. And it's at 5 o'clock, goes until 9 on February 23rd. It costs $5 per person, and for a family of 4, it's $15. Goes up after that. All proceeds go to the Merle Foundation, which benefit our library.
Right. And I think that it's important to note that fundraising is a big part of your budgeting process. You know, everyone's struggling right now in hard economic times, and taxes go up and budgets get cut. And so I think that it's important to note that you guys do a lot of fundraising, and it's kind of vital to keep that facility open and running.
Right, and we do a lot for free as well. I mean, these
Exactly.
programs, Madeline
There's
is
no
talking about,
charge.
There's no
Right.
charge.
Right.
These local people who are willing to come and give programs and share their expertise and their knowledge are doing it for free.
And some not so local. I mean, they're coming from
Mm-hmm.
some distance. So, yeah.
Right, and we do what we can. We might pay mileage or get a hotel room or something, but we really rely on the kindness of strangers.
Right, yeah.
And some, we're not strangers. but-
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. There's one other February program that's not necessarily aligned with African American history, but it's February 12th, and it's Starting Seeds Indoors. We kind of have a partnership with Master Gardener, the Gardener program here. So anyway, Scott Marion, who's a wonderful presenter, will be talking about that.
Yeah,
Well, who would have thought you could be talking about growing things in the middle of winter, but I guess
Indoors,
it's possible.
That's right.
Right,
That's
yeah.
right. When they
Yeah.
get started, the University of Missouri Extension has been very good to us this past year, and as
Right.
Madeline said, we've developed this partnership that we hope will be long-lasting and
really
very
good.
educational. And
Exactly, and you know, a lot of people have attended these programs, so we've had anywhere from 30 to 50 people attending the gardening programs, so it's kind of
we're
exciting.
benefiting from the fact that the Master Gardeners need to get speaking points. Isn't that right, Madeline?
I think so, yeah, I think so, yeah.
To maintain their Master
status.
Gardener status.
Oh,
so-
right, yes, right, more hours, right.
We're giving them opportunity
Yeah,
to,
Right.
right.
to do that.
It's mutually beneficial
Yeah,
relationship.
exactly. Exactly, right.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, Claudia, real quickly, when you're talking about the mini golf fundraiser, is that indoors and you actually set up?
Yes,
Grounds
yeah,
in
the
the
whole
library?
library, it turns into a mini golf place, grounds. Yeah, we hit balls through the stacks on the first floor and in the children's department, 18 holes. It's pretty fabulous. So
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun
Yeah.
for the whole family can enjoy.
Our head of maintenance built the mini golf set, and so it's really fun to hit a ball down one of our aisles, and just go through the library. You just don't think about playing mini golf inside of a library, and it's pretty fun for people.
Well, and typically, libraries are kind of seen as, quiet places where you have to whisper and be really well behaved, and it's like, well, that's completely the opposite.
No, library is not quiet, no.
Exactly. I keep forgetting to say course. I'm obviously not a golfer, but yes, we're setting up a course, a mini golf course. I kept thinking, what is the word I'm trying to use? And for those golfers watching me, they're shaking their heads, I know.
Those competitive mini golfers.
Yes, yes. It's a course. We set up a course in the library, and it's quite fun. And
a multi-level course. Right?
Yes. We hit at one time. You hit it from upstairs to downstairs. It goes down a tunnel down the stairway.
That sounds like fun.
So
yeah.
Well, you have several events happening in February. A lot of people coming in, a lot of noted speakers, and I really like the fact that you guys incorporate so much history of Jefferson City and just the the Mid-Missouri area into all of those events. It sounds like, since it is during Black History Month, a lot of these would be great for classes to go to, or maybe people that are looking for kids that maybe need some extra credit or want to just do a little outside learning.
Exactly,
that would be a great place for them to do that.
Right.
Yeah, teachers want to give extra credit points, up our numbers. We're also getting some more comfortable seating.
Yes.
Those folks that went to movie nights in the past and sat in folding chairs will be happy to know that we've purchased some more comfortable seating that should be in shortly. And hope that people will be a little more comfortable for longer programs.
Right.
Oh, may I mention one other thing? This is
Absolutely.
January. This is the end of January. It's a program, kind of an old book and coin roadshow, kind of like an antiques roadshow. Two people will be there. One of them, Annette Colling-Buckley, who operates Columbia Books in Columbia. And she is one of 3 antiquarian booksellers in the state who's certified to do appraisals. So she works with universities and estates, and she's able to do that. So you can bring in a book, an old book or 2, and have her evaluate those. And Gary Schmutzler, who is a local coin expert, can bring in a few coins and have those evaluated too. So it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, that's a neat thing, and I'm sure people always, have stuff they're pulling out of the attic or stuff that they've, been passed down through generations of the family. Just be curious to know if it's worth anything.
Or this book is old, it must be valuable.
Right.
You're right. Not just because,
Right.
right. But sometimes you never know. Yeah, and they've done this kind of, and I know Annette has done this kind of program in Columbia at the university, and a lot of people have shown up. So.
Well, it sounds like you guys have a ton of events going on, and for people that want to find out more or get specific dates and times and want to keep track of all this, what's the best place that they can go for information about library events?
Our website has all this information. There's a calendar of events that you can link to directly from our main site, which is www.mrrl.org. And inside the library, we do have a newsletter. And, we do have a newsletter that just was published yesterday.
Right.
It's also online, too.
And we have a program guide, and then there's a rotating television screen or
given to us by our foundation.
Yes, right. It's a digital screen, so
online, waiting to check out. You can see the events scroll by. But there's various ways, and just call. Just pick up the phone and call us.
Exactly.
And those program guides are handy too. I know my mother-in-law takes the kids a lot of times to the library, to the children's library, and she likes to pick those up, so she knows when to come back with them.
Right.
So,
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Claudia, and Marilyn, it was nice meeting you, and it sounds like there's just a ton of things going on at the library, and we encourage people to check those out.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming by today, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We have more Community Connection coming your way, where we'll be telling you about what's happening in Jefferson City during these cold winter months. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back.
And 30. Oh! Yo, hey, Allison.
What's going on?
working on my free throws. Just sunk 30 straight.
30? That's not possible.
Maybe not possible for you, but I've been practicing.
Step back and give me the rock.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
1, 2, 11. You know it's harder when people are watching.
Hey, you know, 11's not that bad. All you need are a few pointers.
Thank you. Are you a free throw expert?
Well, no, not really, but I do know excellent teamwork when I see it. Oh, it's so much easier to get active and live healthier when your friends are there to motivate you with a little friendly competition.
Now let's get this game started. Oh, she's going for the hook shot. Hook shot. That's what I'm talking about.
America.
Let's get healthy together.
Hello, welcome back to Community Connection. I'm your host, Gloria Enloe. During the first half of this program, we talked with some folks from the Missouri River Regional Library about several events they have coming up, and that's a great resource for people who are looking for something fun to do in Jefferson City. But another great resource we have right here in our hometown is the Missouri State Capitol, and more importantly, what we'll be discussing today, the Missouri State Museum. And Linda Endersby, the director of the museum, has agreed to join us today and talk a little bit about the museum itself and some programs they have coming up that we think our viewers will be interested in. Linda, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Linda, I think when people think of the Missouri State Museum, the first thing they think is the Capitol. But can you tell our viewers a little bit about what exactly the museum is and where you can find it?
The Missouri State Museum is inside the Missouri State Capitol, although we're not a part of it. We're actually one of over 80 Missouri State parks and historic sites in the state. Although we've been in the Capitol since the new Capitol was built. It was part of the design of the new Capitol to have a museum in the first floor wings.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about some of the exhibits or things that people might see in the museum?
We have two major halls. One is the Resources Hall, one is the History Hall. We focus on the natural and cultural history of Missouri. One of the newest things, although I guess it's been there since May 2011, is Civil War Missouri, a House Dividing, which is our Civil War exhibit. However, every 6 months we do change artifacts in there. We put in new artifacts, new flags, different things. So even if people have been there to see it, they will be able to see new things through the course of the exhibit, which goes through 2015.
Now, I understand that people can just walk into the museum and visit and look around. Do you primarily see people that are just kind of there, you know, looking for something to do, or do you cater to school groups quite a bit too? Tell us a little bit about your visitors.
We do a little bit of all of that. There are a lot of people who come to the Missouri State Capitol and are surprised to find that our state museum is in the state capitol. In many states it started there. There are only 2 states in which the state museum is still inside the state capitol. So we have people coming for that who just happen upon us, but we also do serve especially 4th graders, but a lot of school groups come to the state capitol. It is our staff that provides the tours of the Capitol building as well as other educational programming and the exhibits in the Capitol. And especially over the past few years with some of the new programming and exhibits we do have people coming to the Capitol specifically to see the museum and to come to our new programming.
Now, your office covers more than just the museum that's in the Capitol, though, too. Am I right? You also have the Jefferson Landing Historic Site?
We also administer Jefferson Landing State Historic Site, which includes the oldest building in Jefferson City. Most people know us as we're down where the Amtrak station is, near the riverfront, about 2 blocks from the Capitol. That site includes the Lohman Building, which was built, at least the first portion, in 1838, and then the Union Hotel across the street, which was built in 1855. And those are both open to the public March 1st through the Saturday of Labor Day.
Well, I found it really interesting that you pointed out that you guys are in the state capitol, and that's somewhat rare nowadays. And I understand you just had a big event, too, with the governor's inauguration. Tell us a little bit about how that impacts the museum.
As I said, we don't run the Capitol building, we're not in charge of it, but we do have a large piece of it that is our exhibit space on the first floor. Events such as the Grand March and the inaugural ball happen in the first floor rotunda, but it does extend into our exhibit areas, our exhibit wings. So it does affect us. Our staff is there to assist people, and as they're looking and doing other things there, they actually do look at our exhibits and spend some time in our space during the event. So it does affect our operation a little bit.
Well, and maybe get a few more people interested in the museum too and learning what's there.
We do have people that we've talked to who come to the Capitol for the first time, and they say, I didn't realize this was here, and I'm interested in history. And we did have some people who said we'd like to come back and spend more time in the museum.
Well, one of the things that is a fairly recent development, it's been going on for a while now, but it's the first time we're talking about it here, is the Museum After Hours series. Tell us a little bit about that program.
One thing over the past about 5 years or so is we've got our tagline, It's Your History. As I said, we are a Missouri State Park. We feel that our owner, the people that we're beholden to, are the people of the state of Missouri. We want to involve them more, find more ways to bring them in. For 2012, we started this new programming series, Museum After Hours. We stay open late the first Wednesday of each month, so people can come in and see the exhibits if it's hard for them to get in during the day or for different things. And we usually have some kind of programming, either bringing out some artifacts that aren't on exhibit normally, and have somebody come and talk about them, or different things each month to entice them in to see the rest of the exhibits. And as I said, 2012 was the first year that we did that. And we're continuing it in 2013 because it was a success.
Well, how has the turnout been for that, for those events?
And sometimes it varies depending upon the weather and what else is going on. Our highest event total was we hit almost 100 people for our June event. It featured actually a local expert on the St. Louis World's Fair, and we actually have a new collection on the St. Louis World's Fair that's over 4,000 items that's going to be part of an upcoming exhibit. And so that was one of the highlights, is we had a huge turnout for that.
Well, February's coming up, and that's Black History Month, and our guests from the first half of the program actually talked about a lot of the Black History events that they're going to be doing at the library. Can you tell us a little bit about the February speaker that you'll have for Museum After Hours?
We're excited to have Miller Boyd come in. He's out of the University of Mississippi, and he's done some groundbreaking research on the African American experience, particularly in Missouri during the Civil War. He's done research on the founding of Lincoln University, the 62nd and 65th U.S. Colored Troops, but he's also done research on African Americans who chose not to enroll in the military, partially because they felt that may have been another form of bondage. So African Americans made a lot of different choices on their own to what they were going to do during the Civil War in Missouri. And he has come before to talk about the 62nd, because we have that flag in our collection, but now he's coming back to talk more about other choices and other experiences they had during the Civil War.
Yeah. Well, and you know, with the governor's speech, he referenced too the conflict that Missouri went through with the Civil War and the past, and you know, it really was kind of a state divided. So I think that that's a great topic to bring to light in Missouri.
Yes, and it plays into what we've been doing with our Civil War exhibit, that Missouri really was a house dividing, that there was a great deal of conflict and a lot of choices, and people chose a lot of different things, no matter what their background. Mm-hmm.
Are these speaker series and events, are they open to the public? Do you have to sign up ahead of time, or can you just show up?
They are open to the public. That's part of it. The Capitol closes normally at 5 p.m., so the museum closes that. But on this one evening, it is open till 9, and usually we have some kind of programming that happens at 7, whether it's a speaker coming in or some kind of interactive programming on some things. In January, we actually had Meskers in Missouri, which is an architectural feature, and they did a hunt trying to figure out how to find Meskers in the wild, so to speak. So some of them are more interactive and not just somebody coming in and giving a talk.
Right. Well, it's a good time for a family to get out too and go and see the museum too, because through the week, you know, people work a lot of times, might not be able to get over there in time.
Yes, that's part of it. We're trying to open it up to as many people as possible to cater to changing and difficult schedules for families and adults.
Well, we wish you a lot of luck with that series. Is there anything else that's coming up in February that you'd like people to know about?
We do have at Jefferson Landing, the Union Hotel houses the Roadshow Gallery, and we have rotating exhibits in there. We are bringing in a traveling exhibit on Lincoln and the Constitution, which is very exciting. We're also partially excited because of the phenomenon of the movie Lincoln and constitutional talk, so it really fits into an interest there. And we are having a couple events going on with that. On February 1st, we have Justin Dyer from the University of Missouri who will come in and talk about Lincoln and his constitutional thoughts. On March 23rd, we will have somebody coming in, Chris Valillo, who will do sort of Lincoln in song. So this is about Lincoln, his constitutional thought, his thoughts about slavery and things like that I think will be pretty exciting.
Well, it sounds like a lot of great events are coming up, and this is kind of maybe a resource that not a lot of people know about. If someone's wanting to attend one of these events or just learn more, where can they go to find information?
A couple different places. You can go to our website, www.missouristatemuseum.com. You can call our main office number, 573-751-2854. Or you can come into the Capitol. We have a museum desk right off the first floor rotunda, and we have staff there 361 days a year who would be happy to answer questions about any of the exciting programming we've got coming up.
All right. Well, Linda, thank you so much for coming by today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. We're happy to share what we do. We're excited about it.
All right. And I'd like to thank our viewers at home for watching Community Connection. I'm your host, Gloria Enloe. We're going to say goodbye for now, but don't go anywhere. We have more great JCTV programming coming your way. Thank you so much for watching.